My name is Jim Vieira. I'm a writer, researcher, and stonemason by trade. I write for Ancient American Magazine, the Shelburne Falls Independent, and I've turned historical detective in the last couple of years, and I'll get into that story in a second. I've studied the ancient civilizations in North America and found out creations like this, the 100-foot-high, 14-acre base pyramid in Cahokia, Illinois, built by Native American civilizations, have been marginalized. I mean, I don't think many people in the crowd are probably familiar with structures like this. When the colonists showed up, they found hundreds of thousands of these incredible constructions. My research took a strange turn reading through town histories. And I was reading through the George Sheldon's Town History of Deerfield. And what I found was an account of an 8-foot skeleton with double rows of teeth on page 78. And yes, so I read thousands of pages in Town Histories of Massachusetts, 7'8", double rows of teeth in Middleborough, Mass. That's near where I grew up. So I continue to read, and I just found it extremely strange, especially this anatomic anomaly, double rows of teeth. Martha's Vineyard, 7 foot, an unusual feature was double rows of teeth. Now, how could these occur all over the country? I'll get into that. How could all these people in obscure journals in town histories know about these strange anatomic anomalies if it wasn't reality? And once again, history of Rockingham, Vermont, double rows of teeth. And the jawbone was of such size that a man could slip it over his face. I've seen hundreds of these accounts. I found one in Martha's Vineyard also. So, what the hell is going on? A total freak show. What I did was I got together with a bunch of other well-respected researchers like Ross Hamilton, who worked with Native American elders to create his book, Tradition of Giants. 9-foot, massive skull, New York Times, burial mound in Wisconsin. And what I've found and compiled with other researchers is thousands of these accounts, and not dudes from Deliverance, but like trained, Warren K. Moorhead, the Dean of American Archaeology, 68 skeletons, over 7 foot high, with giant axes. New York Times, hundreds of these accounts. W.J. Holland, curator of anthropology for the Carnegie, unearthed between an 8 and 9 footer in the late 1890s. You contact the Smithsonian, you contact the Carnegie, and they say we have no record of this. The Smithsonian was all around the country grabbing up giant remains. It's in newspaper accounts, it's in scientific journals, it's in their own ethnology reports, which I'll get to in a second. Ralph Glidden, 3,781 skeletons he collected and unearthed on Catalina Island. This one's 7'8", average height 7 feet. The largest was 9'2". 9'2"? So Furenstam, the naturalist, years before Glidden ever unearthed giant skeletons, that's the skull of an 8-footer right there. And the story gets more strange as it goes on. Not just like 6'5", 6'6", but up to 10 foot tall. And the Rosicrucians and the Freemasons in their literature also talk about this phenomenon. I don't know what that means, but this lines up with Native American oral history, I'll say also. Native American, and that's the thing, Native American oral history has been marginalized like it's some superstitious belief. That's garbage. It is a correct rendition of the past. Right here, 1899, verified, 8-foot, 1.5-inch skeleton, verified by Thomas Wilson, curator of the Smithsonian. The skulls, everything he verified. Here we go, 1939. The largest skull in the world, look at this, twice the size of normal, came out of Burial Mound in Texas. In 2010, the head of records was contacted at the Texas Archaeological Research Laboratory and said the skull is no longer in the collections. This was verified by William A. Duffin, the archaeologist who found it, and the physical anthropologist Marcus Goldstein, who worked as an aide for Hrdlicka at the Smithsonian. Look at how massive the skull is. Gone. Oh, finds itself skull sent to the Smithsonian over and over again. And then you contact them, and they politely tell you to go to hell. We have no record of a race of giants and things like that. I'm talking dozens and dozens of accounts. There are thousands of these accounts in obscure journals, anthropological diaries, things like that. Right here. Yeah, they're sizable. So the Smithsonian was dispatched for an unsuccessful expedition to prove giant race theory. They found the 7-footer with the giant skull. I think that's successful in my book. So they're all over the country, creating up these remains. Hrdlicka, this racist, the head of anthropology, the godfather of anthropology in the U.S., was a sickening racist, and he's the one who said giants no more. he measured the skull size to equate intelligence, and he was very, I don't want to get long-winded, but anyways, in the Smithsonian's own ethnology reports, there's at least 9 reports of over 7-foot skeletons, one with double rows of teeth and giant axes and a massive skull. Right there, 1883, you can see it for yourself. That's Snowflake, my cat. I'm the editor of the Daily Giant on my Facebook page. Stone builders, mound builders, and the giants of ancient America. If you've seen America and Earth and shows like that, they have special on giants. That's my site right there. Yeah. There's a ton of info there if you're down with it. Thanks for having me. Man.